Well, what we always stress is that without good content, it's virtually impossible to keep traffic on your page and direct it to your web booking engine. So the first thing is always have a really good website and help our partners with the content for that if necessary, because even though that's not our core product, but we help there. The second is make it interesting and attractive to book direct. Now, that is a bit of a difficult question to answer because it's so individual for each hotel. So it needs to actually go directly to each individual hotel's speciality or what makes it interesting. And then the last thing is don't make it more complicated to book direct than it is with the OTAs. And that is the design, the technology behind it, and how your customer can book. Well, a really good website is one that captures and gets the looker to want to stay long enough for you to convert eventually a sale. But it doesn't always have to be right away for the direct sale. It also has to be a website that makes it interesting to come back and maybe have impetus to find new things all the time. And of course, a good website will, from the look and feel, be very different for, let's say, a city hotel than a luxury hotel, than a budget hotel. So there is never one answer, and obviously people will always tell you anything different. I think for different guest groups and different lookers, also a good website is different. So you need to figure out which target group you are mostly trying to attract, and then be sure that that reflects also what the hotel afterwards looks like when the guest comes to you, so that your website is in tune with your product. So I think it depends also a little bit on the strength of the team in the hotel. So I think if you're a hotel with a very flat hierarchy and, where you're literally the owner also checks in the guests and so on, probably a higher mix of OTA is not a bad thing because you don't need to worry about a lot of the things like marketing, search engine optimization and so on. But if you are a more complex operation with a full staffing and a revenue manager and maybe in the marketing department a little bit more depth, then you absolutely need to figure out via some sort of a displacement analysis at which time which market mix is bottom line best for you. So you need to always consider the costs involved. OTA doesn't have to necessarily mean less money for you under the bottom line, but it could mean, in most cases it does mean that, depending on the effort to gain the other business. Probably a healthy mix. I mean, I hear there are some destinations where they have a 70% online mix of OTA, so 30% direct booking of all the online traffic. Well, now the big question is how much of that online is your total percentage of business. If you have a strong group business, a strong company, corporate business, then that may be okay. But if you don't have that, then you should try and push your direct booking up a little bit. Well, HSMAI Europe, we are a very engaged but a relatively new member of HSMAI in Europe. And seeing that we are just now have expanded into the UK, just on time. Of course, for us, the plan is to use our partnership with HSMAI to network with relevant groups, to maybe get into this dialogue of helping our hotel partners more with what's at the pulse. And one thing which HSMAI that's really fantastic is that there's always events, networking groups and so on, where you get to interact on just all the new trends and what's happening. And I think this is one of the real big benefits. Most importantly for me, and I speak for me as a person within our organization, I really like the educational aspect and working with young people, developing people, getting to a point where you have people that can certify themselves, where they can gain more and more traction. And that makes HSMAI a very strong partner for us because there is quite an impetus on that. Well, I didn't have to think very long to send in an application for the mentor program when the announcement came that there's looking for it. I myself had one or two very strong mentors in my professional life. and I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't met those people and if they hadn't taken on that role. It wasn't a formal program like we're talking about now. My expectation is that I can hopefully be able to make a similar impact to some younger person now wanting to find out where they fit into our fantastic industry, and give them a helping hand. At the same token, it gives me a really unique opportunity to look more into what our future looks like and incorporate that then back into our fabric of our own corporation.